Hey YouTube, this is Drift to the End, and I'm coming at you yet again with another video. Today I'm going to be discussing how I raised my credit score about 140 points within a year's time. Now let me say beforehand, I am not some type of guru, professional credit guy. All I am is a regular guy who is trying to build my credit and was successful, I guess, and I'm still working at it because I don't have great. 680 is still, you know, in the shaky aspect, but compared to 540, I mean, it's great, at least for me. So what happened was I got Credit Karma, you know, it said I had 540, and the reason why I really wanted to change my credit score is because when I went in to go rent apartments, I would be denied automatically at a lot of places. Now, I was living in Northern California at the time, and they're very strict about credit. And I've recently moved to Southern California where they're bad on credit, like strict, but they'll work with you if you put a bigger deposit down, you know, so they're a little more lenient. And you may be in another state where it doesn't even matter about credit much, and you'll get an apartment rented. But I was upset because I had good rental history. You know, I pay my rent on time all the time. Good tenants, no problem. So it's like I can't move into these apartments because my credit's bad. Well, the reason why my credit's bad is because I'm paying my rent. Because they say, oh, you know, well, if you're not going to pay your bills on time, you're not going to pay your rent. But people with bad credit, a lot of times, not all the time, will have bad credit because they're going to pay their rent before they pay any other bills. So I was upset there was no leniency when it came to my credit. So how did I build my credit? Well, I looked online and I studied for hours and hours and hours, different sources, YouTube, Facebook, Google, everywhere. So basically I came to the conclusion I need to get a secured credit card. And I do have a credit union, which I'd advise you to go through a credit union if you're going to get a credit card. But, you know, if you want to go through Wells Fargo or Bank of America, go right ahead. I don't advise it at all. So I went to the bank and I was like, I need a secured credit card. I had $200 ready to put down for the deposit, and they ran my credit. And what happened was I got approved without a secured credit card. It was just $200 credit limit, and I was happy. So what I did was I realized, what do I want to use my transactions on for my credit card? Well, I started just paying my phone bill, because since it was a $200 limit, you're only supposed to use 1/3. So about $80 or whatnot. So my phone bill was at the time $60. So I just pay my phone bill with it. I'd be within that 20 to 30% of my spending limit, which is great. And I just pay it with my credit card, and then 3 days before my credit card's due, I would pay the payment for my credit card, and I paid it in full. I'd never make partial payments. So I did that for a long time, and it started raising. You know, it took about a couple months to see it even raise a little bit, and then every month after that it started raising and raising and raising. I'm like, oh, this is great. And surprisingly, somehow one of my big medical bills, because one time I had to go to the emergency room because my finger got infected at work. It was like a temp agency job. And it was like an $8,500 thing that I couldn't pay. I didn't pay, and it was on my credit, and it fell off. So that boosted it up right away. And then later on, I realized there was this one for Chase Bank that I had. Let me explain how I owed them $1,000. So at one point, I wanted a loan. I looked online on Google, and I found a place that was going to give me like a $300 loan. And so I signed up, and I put my routing number and my checking number in, and you know, I'm waiting to get my money. And all of a sudden, you know, a week or two later, I still haven't received my money, and my bank was negative, and it was bad. So what happened was they would take $5 to $10 increments, but like a bunch of them, like, you know, 10 or 12 of those. So each one would incur overdraft fee for $33. So all of a sudden I owe, like, you know, $700, and I'm like, what the hell? And I didn't even get the $300 I was supposed to get for a loan. And so I called the place up and I said, hey, where's my $300 loan, and why are you taking out $10 and $5 over and over and over out of my account? And they said, oh no, you didn't sign up for a loan, you signed up for a membership with us, and blah blah blah. So I went and disputed it with Chase, but Chase didn't really care, or at least my banker didn't. What he said was, well, you gave him your checking and routing number, so you kind of screwed yourself, we're not going to help you. And I was very upset about this, and it went to collections because I couldn't pay it. And then once it was in collections, I didn't want to pay it, because if you pay something in collections, well, at that time, I didn't have the money anyway. But say that you have something in collections and it's been in collections for a few years, then you want to pay it off or make payments, it will start over, and it will be another 7 years until that drops off. So you got to be careful. I haven't paid anything off so far. I do want to pay some smaller payments, but I do want to get some more tax, or not tax, I want to get some more credit advice from somebody. So what I did was, I really felt in my heart and soul that it was unfair, so I made a dispute through Credit Karma. You can do it through the credit bureau. There's 3 credit bureaus. You can do them directly, but I went through Credit Karma and I said, hey, I don't believe that this should be on my credit because this is fraudulent, pretty much, in little words, And a week later, to my surprise, it was taken off my credit. Okay, so now I'm going to go into why I don't think those credit repair companies, why you should never deal with them or trust them with your information or pay them to get things removed off your credit. Okay, so doing more research, I learned that if you dispute all the things on your credit, that it can be called frivolous. And what happens is you basically get on this automatic reject list, meaning that every time, even if there's a legit thing, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. You keep lying and lying and lying, then when you really have a problem, they're not going to believe you. So basically what the credit repair companies do is they'll send in for everything on your credit, every little thing, dispute, this isn't true, this isn't true, this isn't true, this isn't true, right? And say that, the only way they can know it's true is that they contact the company and the company has paperwork to prove it. But say that they have proof, and you disputed 6 items, right? And 5 of those items come back and they show the proof. Well, you know what the credit bureau is going to do? They're going to say, we can't trust this guy. He's just wasting our time, and he's just trying to fraud by just saying that, these aren't true when they are. So you'll basically get automatically denied in the future when you try to dispute things. So only dispute things when you, in your heart and soul, or whatever you want to call it, when you really believe that it was unfair, unjust, or just shouldn't be on your credit. So don't just dispute everything. You don't want to be known as the frivolous. You don't want to be listed as that. So be careful with those credit repairs. I wouldn't advise them. I did want to do them a long time ago, but do your research. That's the number one thing you can do, is just spend those hours on Google, on YouTube, and learn about credit. So I got that knocked off. That built up my credit. Well, recently, me and my fiance's used car went out. We only bought it for $1,800. We had it for more than a year. So we feel we got our money's worth. I mean, we wish it would have lasted longer. The thing that happened was the ignition went out, and it was a Saab, which Saabs are out of business. And so getting those parts are very expensive. And then even when he got the part, he didn't know if that was all that it was going to be. So it was going to be a big repair. So I went to go get a loan. And I couldn't get a loan from 2 of my credit unions. They both denied me. And they said because they haven't seen, they didn't say, because my income was okay. I made enough income. My credit score was okay. They said it was okay. But they've never seen me take out a loan, so they didn't want to trust me. Well, luckily my mother, I asked her to co-sign, and just that last time to try. And she actually co-signed for me. And now we got that loan. It did drop my credit score a little bit, about 40 points when I opened the loan, of course. But now I'm going to be paying it off. And it was like a $3,000 loan. So once I start making good and paying on it, and it was a 4-year loan, I'm going to close it out in 1 year. I wanted to close it out as soon as possible when I get my taxes right here next month. But she advised me not to, my banker. She said, you know, you're going to want to keep making payments, and this is going to prove yourself that, or prove to everybody who looks at your credit that you're able to make these payments and that you're trustable. But if you just pay it off right away, it's only going to knock your score down and maybe not even jump it up at all. So your credit score is not going to go up, and it's not going to do much for if you need a loan in the future. So we got the loan. I'm very happy. The loan was only $100 a month. Okay, and we ended up buying a car. It's a 2005 Chevy Cobalt with like 120,000 miles. So we scored on it, and it does have fading paint or whatnot, but we didn't have to put any down payment for, you know, a car. Usually when you get a car, you got to put a down payment, and the down payment could be, you know, $2,000. So it is a 20% interest, which I am watching because that's a lot. But if I get it paid off, you know, in a year or two, I'm not going to be paying more than, you know, $800 in 2 years, $400 in 1 year in interest, and it's definitely worth it when we very much need this car. It's going to actually save us money from taking Lyft and Uber. Even in a couple months, we would have spent like $1,800 just, or in a month, I think, for my fiance getting to work and back. So there is hope, guys. I'm telling you, I really felt hopeless. When I had bad credit, I thought it'd never get better. I had hospital bills, dental bills, one credit card I messed over, that bank thing. I mean, I had some bad stuff on my credit, and now it's all starting to build up. Just remember that your credit score is like a sliding scale, 7 years behind until current. And then I got 7 years in the future because, so say I got my credit score good, right? This is just hypothetically, and I have like the best 750 or whatnot, the best credit score you can get. But then I was thinking before I knew about credit, hey, once I get 750, I'm not going to use credit anymore, and my credit is just going to be good forever. Well, that's not true. So even though after 7 years, your bad things on your credit, most of that stuff will drop off within 7 years. The same thing with the good stuff. So within 7 years, your credit cards, your loans, okay, they'll go away. And the ones that I did 7 years ago will be gone, and there will be no track of those. So you're always going to want to have a credit card open. Like I said, just use it on a utility bill or something that you're already going to buy. Don't go out and just spend money to use money on that, to get, you know, a bill for that credit card so you can build that credit. You know, so you can be really responsible. It's very simple. With the credit card, if you pay it on time in full, there's no interest fee. So that's cool. But if you only pay a partial payment, you're going to pay an interest fee. Plus, it's not going to look good on your credit, so don't do that. And then with the loans, you know, if you really need the loan, it's worth it. But if you don't, you want to stay away from loans because they're going to have an interest fee. And depending on your credit, you know, you can get a 15%, 20%, and depending on where you go, it can go higher. But anything more than 20%, you're going to probably not want to do. That's like super high already. So anyways, that concludes this video. If you like the video, please thumbs up if you found it interesting. If not, thumbs it down. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I got other videos. I don't just talk about credit, of course. I talk about a variety of things, and I think you all would find it knowledgeable. I try to share my techniques of being a successful person, pretty much. So yeah, this is Drift to the End channel. Please subscribe and have a good day.